Live, Sensible Prepper. Sensible Prepper. We are ready for a big time. Great for you to join us, and I hope you had a great Thanksgiving and a great weekend.
Hope you got your toilet paper.
Hope you got your toilet paper. Yeah, if you're gonna need it, you need it for that. Yeah, we're gonna be talking about some real fun things today. But yeah, this is just an interesting year, and I don't think that 2021 is going to be any different. Maybe even more fun. But we want to kind of help you guys out. Real great to have Robbie Wheaton with us today. And Robbie owns WheatonArms.com. Does a lot of Glock aftermarket parts, barrels, triggers, the best aftermarket trigger on the market. And just check out Wheaton Arms. He also does a lot of custom work. Been a gunsmith for over 20 years. And so he's just a great resource. And we're always glad to have him with our lives, especially when the questions are coming.
You forgot the most important thing.
Yeah,
I make this flannel look good.
I know. We kind of coordinated today a little bit
without even trying. Like, it's Tuesday. It's cold outside. Coldest day of the year so far.
Yeah.
And I got up this morning, took my shower and all, and I was like, you know what? It's a good day for some flannel.
That's what I thought.
Pulled this thing out, and I was like, oh yeah, that's what I needed today.
We're down here in the dungeon, and the heat is not on, so we're going to be talking real fast. And I also appreciate Sarah Mack over on the computer monitoring your comments and questions, which we will be taking. Now, I do want to mention Sportsman's Guide is sponsoring today's episode and our escapades. And Sportsman's Guide, you get $20 off every $100 or more purchase by using Sootch, just S-O-O-T-C-H. There's not a link because we can't put a link down in the description, but you can just go to Sportsman's Guide when you check out. I have personally used that link or coupon a number of times for myself. And we do appreciate Sportsman's Guide for doing that. And one great thing about it, and we'll kind of lead into what we're talking about, a lot of times when you're prepping, you're doing things, military surplus is some of the best.
Absolutely.
Especially if you're on a budget. And Sportsman's Guide has military surplus from all over the world. I mean, it's all kind of stuff. And I've done a number of things on here with mess kits, canteens. I just bought a couple of really cool jerry cans, some of the NATO jerry cans, and I've been using them. Great way to store some gasoline, which I think is really a smart move. And then, just a lot of other things. And they do a lot of different things, especially during the hunting season. So check out Sportsman's Guide. We really appreciate those guys. Now, one thing that we want to talk about today is a possible. Now, I'm not a financial advisor. We're not accountants. We're not any kind of experts. But one thing over the years, we are students of history. And so with that being said, there have been different economic recessions, depressions, economic collapses that have happened all over the world. And so I think we've got some time right now. I think that there's not really anything until well into next year, but next year could be a situation. And with a lot of the different programs that are being pushed, I think it's going to put a major strain on our economy. And so we need to just start thinking about it. One of the big things, though, for me is being concerned about inflation, hyperinflation. And so one of the biggest things that I've done, and I've talked about this before, is making sure that you have some way to protect your wealth. And that's what we're going to talk about. And before we get into some of the things you can do as far as outside the box is, number one, guys, get your budget. I mean, we've just been through Corona. Looks like we're going through a big lockdown again. That's one of the things that Biden has really been kind of pushing for. It's going to be a dark winter. And guys, actually, winter doesn't start until like December 21st, I think it is. So, we've got some things to consider coming up with lockdowns again. And that a lot of people lose their jobs during those times. So one of the first things to me that you need to do is to make sure that you get on a budget and that you start cutting out a lot of excess spending. With Christmas coming on, that makes it a little
tough
difficult.
time of year for that. It sure is.
But, Christmas comes every year. And so the big thing is make sure that you're putting some money back. Having some cash on hand is really important. We always keep cash on hand. We stock up on cash because a lot of times when they have these crises, The ATMs become limited. The banks, sometimes it's hard to get cash. We just went through a coin shortage, which was really weird.
I tell you, my wife and I, we followed Dave Ramsey's methods for years. And that if you're not familiar with him, Google him, look him up on YouTube. He's got tons of videos on there. Just a tremendous wealth of knowledge to becoming financially independent, completely financially independent. He talks a lot about debt, how, debt is essentially slavery.
Right.
If you're in debt to someone, you're an indentured servant until that debt is paid for.
That's right.
And whether that's for a house or for a car, credit cards, whatever. And that's one of the things that he really, really talks about is making sure that you are debt free, and having a financial nest egg set aside, having an emergency fund set aside, so you have money in case something does happen, and you're not living paycheck to paycheck, and you're not going, oh my God, I just lost my job. What am I going to do?
Right.
How am I going to pay my bills? How am I going to provide food for my family?
One thing about even storing up long-term food, putting back food and making sure you have water. And this has happened. In fact, I had a guy tell me this one time, but I've heard this a number of times, is they've had a job loss for a month or two.
Mm-hmm.
And because they had food stored up, they were able to, instead of going out having to spend money on food at the grocery store, they were able to use the food they had. It gave them that extra money that they had to pay their bills, to pay their power bill. So sometimes this is just smart in everyday life.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, anybody can lose a job. And so, but with what's coming on right now, again, there could be some job losses. So just make sure you get your credit card bills down, get those paid off if you can. And it's just according to where you are financially. I told my son one time, he was spending money and he had gotten his first job and he just was buying everything, and he needed some tires for his car. And I told him, I said, I'm going to tell you something. I said, you need to have money always in the bank. You need to have a savings. I said, when I was young, my mom and dad told me that, and I was like, savings boring. Savings is dumb. But when you have money in the bank and you need new tires for your car, it's not a financial emergency.
That's right.
You just write a check. I said, having money in the bank is freedom. It's freedom. And we're a very consumer-driven society.
Oh, yes.
I know I just did this big video on the Olight flashlights. Everybody runs out and they buy all this stuff, and I understand that. But you need to take responsibility for your finances. And so one of the big things, though, that again, is to have some cash put back and make sure that you can, if your electric bill comes up, your power bill comes up, and that's a financial crisis every month, you need to reevaluate what you're doing. So that's just basic. Get on a budget. We all know that. Just do the smart thing there to get yourself prepared. Now, let's take it a step further. One thing that I am big about is this right here. Having silver, not as an investment, but to protect my wealth. And if you'll notice that any countries that have political upheaval, that have economic upheaval, people that had precious metals fared through that a heck of a lot better. Plus, if the dollar starts to lose its value, or wherever country you're in, having those precious metals, a lot of people, especially during the Vietnam War at the end, a lot of these Vietnamese were trying to get out because they had supported the U.S. There in Vietnam. And a lot of them were able to escape only because they had precious metals and they had jewelry and they bribed their way out of there. But really having metal like this, when I first started buying silver, it was $5 an ounce. I just picked up some silver this past week. It's a little over $20 an ounce for the junk silver. But then you're talking, it's about $22 an ounce. And so it's just a way that if the dollar starts to lose its value, and guys, we've seen the grocery store prices of food going up. That means your dollar's becoming worth less. And so being able to hedge against that and protect your wealth is one thing that's great. Also, gold. Now, gold's expensive. Gold's hard to get into. I mean, because it is expensive. This is a company that I've been kind of working with. It's Acre Gold, and they have a subscription where you pay like $50 a month. And then when you get enough to purchase one of these small little bars, 1/10 ounce, they send it to you. Then you have physical gold on hand. I have a link down below in the description if that's something you're interested in. But having those kind of things. Also, what is the number one thing that you buy that just retains its value? And you buy a lot of them.
Ammunition.
Well, ammunition. And the other part of that are firearms.
Guns. That's right.
One thing, guys, to consider is having hard assets.
Let's see. You invest in heavy metals, silver, gold. I invest in heavy metals, lead,
and brass.
and brass. That's
Well, I do too. But yeah, and of course, right now it's very difficult to get that.
Yeah.
But ammunition, firearms, guys, you can sell firearms. If you get into a crunch, you can always turn that into something.
And most of the time you can at least get your money back out of it.
Right.
You know, it's not like a car that you have to sell a year later and, you know, it's worth half of what you paid for it a year ago.
Right.
Firearms, you know, take a Glock, for instance. A 30-year-old Glock is still worth $400.
Oh yeah, easy.
Yeah.
Easy. Yeah.
So a 20-year-old Glock is worth $400 or $500. 10-year-old Glock, $400 or $500.
Right.
And then, you know, with things like they are right now, probably $500 or $600.
Yeah,
they're worth a little more.
Well, you know, it's funny. I noticed on Classic Firearms, they had these police trade-ins, and some of them are going for like $329.
Yeah,
they're up to $500.
That's right. That's right. Where at the beginning of this year, you could buy those for $249 to $269, and now most of those police trade-ins are over $500.
And they don't have them. They're gone.
Right. Yep.
So, you know, if you have private sales, you can find something or do something like that. But it's not just guns. It's also other things that you can turn your money into cash. Now, one big thing that we've always talked about is bartering. And, you know, in an SHTF situation, barter becomes the currency. And so whether you have, you know, I mean, liquor's a great one, whether you drink or not. You can use it for medicinal purposes, but you can also have it. Tobacco, of all things. You know, and toilet paper. I mean, there are things that people are going to want that if you have, you can use it to get other things.
If you go to the grocery stores and stuff now, the toilet paper aisles are pretty much empty.
No,
already, because people are anticipating another lockdown and things being difficult to get, and people are already starting to buy up the consumable items that they need, like toilet paper. We went to 3 or 4 different stores in the last week to get toilet paper. And we found one store that had some that you could get 1 pack.
Wow.
That was it.
Wow. Well, that's the kind of stuff that, you know, here's the thing, guys. Once a panic starts, let's just say like a financial crisis, once it starts, then you're part of the crowd.
Yep.
And so it's better to go ahead and think about these things ahead of time. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and go to some questions. If you have some questions, and it doesn't have to be related to this, but if you want to, that's fine. But Sarah Matt's going to give us some questions.
What about Bob asked, howdy from Texas. What does Sootch mean?
My oldest son is named Seth. And when he was a little guy, I called him Little Sootch. I just called him Sootch. So when I started my YouTube channel, I wasn't planning on doing what I'm doing. I just was, hey, I just saw people shooting guns. I'm going to shoot some guns. And so I just named it Sootch because that was the first thing that came to my mind. And 00 at the end. Double all, but that's not really what I was thinking. I just did 00. That's the whole story. And so Sootch, when he got to be a teenager, he didn't like for me to call him Sootch. Now that he's a young adult and our channel's where it is, he doesn't mind being called Sootch. He's actually Sootch Senior. I'm Sootch Junior.
Bo Riley asked, where's a good place to buy gold grams?
Well, you know, what I did was I went to a local, it was a local gold and silver coin place. I mean, they buy gold and silver, they buy the coins. So when I went in, I said, hey, I'd like to buy some junk silver. And they have gold as well. And a lot of these places do. And you can buy that kind of, you know, you can buy those things there. And, you know, they'll give you they have a certain spot price they do. And, you know, you can go in and get it. One thing that I've done over the years, which is funny, I'll jump on eBay and somebody have a little bag of coins, you know, dimes or quarters.
Yep.
And I'll just bid on it and I'll buy it and I'll stick it back. But gold definitely is a little more. But you can go to gold, you know, even jewelry stores.
Yep.
Pawn shops
are a great one. Absolutely.
Pawn shops. And sometimes you have some people. Robbie, we were just talking about it. He ran into a deal a while back and got a really super deal because what they were asking for was way undervalued, and he was able to get a good deal. So, you know, go into places that buy and sell. You know, you're not going to get a cheap deal, but you're going to get a reasonable price.
That's right. And it's one of those things, a lot of times, the more you buy, the lower you can negotiate the price.
Now, one place that I would recommend is Scottsdale Mint. Those are the guys that actually, one of the guys that owns it was partners in HPR Ammo, and they're out in Arizona. They're great to deal with. Good, solid guy. Josh is awesome. So I'm sure they do carry gold as well. But a lot of those places like APMEX and some of those places, they do carry both. So maybe you can find it there as well.
Christopher Rodriguez asked, what good are precious metals if the economy collapses?
Well, what happens is, let's say in Venezuela or like in Argentina, that's a better option because I know a little bit more about it. Argentina had a major crash early part of 2000. And what happened is the peso went, I mean, it took, it just, it lost its value. Let me get my words out. It lost its value. So what happened is where you'd go into a store and you could buy a can of beans for $1. All of a sudden it's $5. Then it went to $10. I mean, the inflation just went nuts. And so the peso went lower and lower and lower. People that had silver, some people had just had invested in silver. They were able to pay off property. They paid off houses because what happened is the dollar or the peso went down. The price of silver went through the roof.
It does. And the price of silver and gold is also based on a world spot price and not on a U.S. or U.S. only spot price. So if silver is $25 an ounce, it's $25 an ounce anywhere in the world.
Right.
If it's $50 an ounce, it's $50 an ounce anywhere in the world. No matter what your dollar is worth, it's going to be worth, based off of the American dollar, it'll be worth $50 or $100 or whatever per ounce anywhere in the world.
And the lower that your currency drops, the higher the price of silver goes.
Yes.
And then a lot of times after a while, the government will come in and do some kind of reset thing. And that's what they did in Argentina. But, it does give you a hedge. And it does. It's silver. And the one great thing about silver, even over gold, beside it being less price per ounce, is that they use it in a lot of industry. Computer chips are made. Microchips are made with silver and a lot of things. Health benefits. So there's a lot of things about silver that rise the price up as well. So that's one of the things. Now, again, that is just part of it. I don't invest everything I have into silver, but I try to have part of my portfolio is in silver.
Ha Yin asked, I've heard some news on the SB Tactical Brace ban, a list with around 23 SBT brace products. I don't see SBA4 is on the list. Do you think it's still okay to shoulder at the range? Thank you, guys.
Well, as of right now, there has been no ruling whatsoever issued about any of the SB braces being legal or illegal. It's an ongoing conversation with SB Tactical and BATFE, but no official ruling has been issued on any of those braces. The same way with the Q, with the Honey Badger, that one's under a 60-day review right now as well. No formal ruling has been issued about any of the Q products either. So we're all kind of up in the air waiting to see what happens with that. But as of right now, there's no ruling been issued on any of the SB Tactical braces.
Right. It's not like when the bump stocks were deemed that, then it was like, you have to do this. So the ATF has not come clear. And again, he's right. Now, this is the one thing that ATF is saying specifically to SB Tactical is that they only had 2 of their braces actually approved by the ATF that were officially approved. But then in the wording, it said that, and they told him that anything that falls within this line should be fine.
And they had some added features that they had done, like with the adjustable arm brace, that they sent in a separate submission for the adjustable feature, and the adjustable feature was approved. Now, it didn't approve the SBA3 or the SBA4 specifically, but it approved, the initial approval approved the features of that stock. And then the addendum for the adjustable feature was approved separately.
Right.
So even though they weren't all approved together, all of the features have been approved under different rulings.
Right. So at this point right now, it's not illegal to own a brace. No. It's not illegal to do exactly what you've been doing. But we're watching it because that's really what they're kind of shooting for. And that's a big thing that the Biden administration wants to happen. They want that. They want for this to be, to come through and to restrict these braces.
Hyan also asked another question. If enough time, I'm thinking to get a 40 Smith & Wesson pistol. Do you think HK VP40 is a good choice or anything smaller than that? Thanks again.
Yes, VP40 is excellent. Yeah. One of the things I love, because a lot of people like to say, 40's dead, 40's dead. 40 is not dead. It's still a great self-defense round. I prefer 9mm personally, but there's a lot of people that do prefer 40, and that's fine. It's just a matter of taste. But one thing that's really revived the 40 to me is all these police trade-ins that have hit the market.
That's right.
Now, one great thing about 40 caliber, and I know this wasn't what you asked, but the VP9 or VP40, VP9, any HK product is excellent. So I highly recommend it. But one thing that with the 40 caliber, a lot of times when you can't find 9, which, most of the ammo right now is kind of out of bounds, but 40 caliber tends to be around more than the 9mm. So having a 40 caliber to me, and that years ago when we had the first assault weapons ban and all this ammunition dried up, 40 calibers seem to be on the shelf more than 9.
That's
so
right.
I have 40 calibers just for that reason. So
kind of the same way. 9, 40, 45, 10mm, even some 380. I've got all of those on the shelf because if I do start running low on ammo with one, there's a good chance that I can find ammo for one of the other ones.
Right. That's right. That's a good point.
Bug Out Joe asked, why is ammo and guns so high now?
Because of demand. And everybody's just, see, originally what would happen is, let's say Palmetto State Armory would place an order with Remington, with Federal, with whoever. They'd place these orders. And the ammunition companies were eager to sell. And so they would have deals, big deals. And so they'd give them out of volume. What happened was, and Palmetto State said it, they said, look, we can't, we're having to pay full price because they're not giving us the deals, because they don't have to give the deals. Ammunition, they're just working their sales crazy. Ammunition production, and I believe it was with Federal, was up 200%. Yeah. I mean, they were working day and night to get more and more ammo out there. More and more ammo is being produced, but what happens is it's being bought so fast that they don't have to do these deals. One thing that Palmetto State did, I was in there one day when they were talking about it. He said that one of the ammo companies came in and said, okay, we're going to sell you this ammo, but you have to buy all this Black Hawk product. You have to buy all this 50 BMG on links, and you had to buy this other stuff to get the ammo you needed. So that just raises the price up because, these things are slower sellers. So there's a lot to it, and they're not price gouging. They're just it's supply and demand. Yeah. And so money, the thing is when something's harder to get, price goes up. There's just like a lot of these, like classic firearms. I went on there the other day and I could get one of their Glock 40s, their Model 22s, for $329, $300, because they had so many, and there were so many going out, and they were trying to make it affordable. I mean, make it appealing for people to buy. Well, now they can't even keep them in stock. So the price has gone up just because they're not able to get as many. They're not able to sell as many.
It's just supply and demand.
Yeah,
it really
because
is.
They can't get them. So there's a lot of factors. A lot of people think they're being gouged or whatever. Guys, at this point right now, if you can find ammo, unless it's just freaking crazy expensive, but just because it's higher doesn't mean you shouldn't go out and buy it, because we're not going to have ammo for a long time.
Well, here's the thing. I'm glad you brought that up. If we go back to 2008 when Obama was elected, it was his first 4 years that he was in office. Ammo was almost impossible to find. When you did find it, it was very expensive. When he got reelected in 2012, same thing. Ammunition was dried up. Yeah, and I'm sure a lot of you remember, you couldn't go into a store and be able to buy 22 ammunition or 9mm ammunition off of the shelf. It was very, very rare that you saw it in there. And if it was, the price was like it is right now. We're seeing the same thing again with a Democratic president-elect at this point. The prices are through the roof. Ammunition is dried up. The manufacturers are not going to be able to keep up with demand for the next 4 years. So, availability is going to be more important than price. You find it, you buy it, and, it just kind of is what it is at this point. You just try and get what you can get so you have some. Because it's really not going to get any better for the foreseeable future.
And wait until Biden puts on this 50% tax on ammo. Then you are going to be paying a lot of money, and it's not going to have anything to do with scarcity. So I highly recommend, guys, because they are making ammo is being produced as fast as possible, probably more than it ever has. And there are people out there that are snatching it up, where they can. It's one thing I've tried to do is I've had people get in touch with me all the time. Hey, I saw ammo here. I saw ammo here. It's a good deal. It's a good deal. I won't usually buy it because I'm trying to let other people have it, because I've got ammo. So, but guys, honestly, I would be buying ammo as much as possible because it's not necessarily going to come back around anytime soon.
Yep.
DZ Ren asks, why is there such a rush on TP again? We didn't need it the first time around. Why is everybody snapping it up again?
Well, I won't say that people didn't need it. A lot of people got caught because they were staying at home and the rush was going and the toilet paper was going off the shelf. I had a buddy of mine. He's a prepper. And he said, he goes, we didn't have toilet paper. He put in a bidet into his toilet so they wouldn't have to have the toilet paper. Now they did end up finding it here and there, but sometimes it's not necessary. It's a manufactured scarcity. I mean, people just run out and they get panicked and they buy it, and that's probably the biggest thing. But
and I would think that it's also kind of a bit of a social comfort item to know that you have something like that.
Yeah, if you don't have toilet paper, that is not very comforting.
Yeah, exactly.
So that it's just that's one thing that with any item that is specific, like hand sanitizer, things like that. But a lot of the food and stuff got wiped out.
That's right. Because
people were staying at home and they wanted to go ahead and get the groceries they need. Then you run to the store, there's nothing on the shelf. So regardless of, oh, we all need to just sit back. Well, people aren't going to do that. So you need to get the supplies you need.
John Taylor ask, any good SKS modern tactical equipment you guys know of? The SKS is an old but a great home defense militia weapon.
It is a great weapon. And when you can find the ammo, which a lot of times you can get it. The steel cased ammo is fairly inexpensive comparatively.
Yeah.
And if you're looking for ammo, ammoseek.com, I talk about it a lot. Just go there and they scour the internet to find the best deals. So that's a good place to find it if you're looking. And they usually have steel cased ammo.
They do. Tapco makes great aftermarket accessories for the SKS.
They do.
As far as stocks, they do magazines. And then they also do a trigger assembly, I believe, for the SKS. I know they do one for the AKs.
They do. That's AK,
really good. They may do one for the SKS as well.
Yeah, that G2 trigger, I believe it is. That's a great trigger from Tapco. They're 20 rounds. They're 20 round magazines and it's according to the SKS, sometimes for different countries.
Yeah.
But I've had good success. I have a number of them.
Yep.
The 30 rounders to me just stick way out, and then you got to stripper clip them. I'm not really a big fan, but I like the 20 rounders. It gives you a little more capability. Their sights, they have sight tools that are great. They have different colored front sights. You can change those out. But go to Tapco. That to me is one of the best as far as that kind of stuff. And there's butt pads. I mean, they have rubberized butt pads. You actually can put the little cleaning kit inside through it.
And there's some other smaller companies that make aftermarket top covers that have an integrated Picatinny rail on it if you want to put an optic on them. So there's a lot of stuff that's out there. Just need to hop on the internet. But Tapco definitely a go-to source for your SKS.
Also, those guys up in North Carolina, Canton. They make the mounts, the scope mounts that actually fit through the locking bolt right there.
Yeah.
TR Enterprises, but what do they go with? They go with
TGR.
TR.
Yeah.
I mean, I've been up there. Those guys are awesome. For some reason, I'm having a hard time thinking about it. Maybe I'll try to put it down in the list. But those guys make a lot of different upgrades for the SKS.
Russell asks, everyone talks about gold and silver, but how many flannel shirts should one keep in their preps? Just kidding. Love the channel.
Thank you. You should have flannel. You should have flannel. If you don't, you haven't been watching Grand Thumb, because he's always wearing his flannel. Yeah, there you go.
Linda Kruger asks, I'm having issues deciphering how long I have with how much food I have prepped to feed my family. 4 adults, do you have a good way to figure this out?
I don't have a formula laid out. We do work on that personally here for our family. But one thing, there are some good resources. I think Survival Dispatch is a good one. But you can look up. You can just get on Google and put on there, long-term food storage, family plans, food storage. And they will have like the number of calories.
That's right.
The different things that you need to put together, and it needs to be a good mix and guys, I'll tell you, canned food, we have long-term food storage. We have all the dry goods. We went down to the Mormon cannery and loaded up a big, huge truck of stuff. And, but when this hit, I didn't want to get out my wheat grinder and grind some wheat and pull out, dried beans. So instead, we loaded up on canned, and we've done this over the years, loaded up on canned food because it is indefinite shelf life.
Yep.
As long as the cans are kept in a temperature control, a darker place,
kind of a cool, dry, dark area,
they will last forever because the sanitary processes, the pressures, the heat that go into canning and modern canning, they surpass anything even before. People still open up cans from World War I.
Yep.
But I would just suggest getting foods that you're going to eat and that you eat normally. But canned foods are definitely one of the big things that we're big on.
Yep.
But there's a lot of resources out there. So, I don't really have something off the top of my head. One thing that we have is the LDS Prepper's Manual or whatever, the Preparedness Manual, the Bible, and it's got all kind of details in there. I highly recommend having the LDS manual anyway, because that years and years of research, and it's just a great resource.
Music Playlist asks, where can we find primers?
Same place you can find the bullets, but small pistol primers, small rifle primers, those are the most difficult to get. Sometimes you can find the large primers. What you got? People looking for primers? Yeah.
No.
What does it say? I can't read it on my glasses.
I can't read it out loud.
Good Lord. Okay, well, that's probably where the primers are. Primers are just hard to find, just like, and two, because a lot of primers they're using to put into ammunition.
That's the thing you run into. You get the manufacturers, you got Federal, ATK, CCI, Winchester, Remington, who's now under the Federal brand. With their primer production is being consumed by their ammunition production. So it's not like they have a surplus that they can sell to you. Everything that they're producing primer-wise right now is being used for their rifle and pistol ammunition, which has a much higher profit margin than a 5,000 box of primers. So they're going to push that stuff over to their reloading stuff first, or to their commercial ammunition first, and then if there's anything left over, then it goes out as far as component sales. And that's why you're not seeing any primers on the market. Everything's being consumed by the manufacturer to be able to load. 22 ammunition is manufactured on the same machines that make the small rifle and a large rifle primers. So you don't see a lot of 22 ammunition because, once again, they're making primers for their rifle and pistol ammunition, and that pushes the 22 rifle ammunition to the side.
Yeah, because it's less expensive,
That's
less
right.
volume. Okay, let's take a couple of minutes break because I want to talk about a couple of things. Sarah Mack's going to keep up if she can. Oh, you got something important?
Apparently the chats are still on, but John Taylor donated $5.
Oh, well, we didn't know we had Super Chat locked in. We didn't mean to. Hey, guys, if you're putting in Super Chat, we didn't know it, but we appreciate it, John. But if we don't call it out, hopefully Sarah Mack will call it out for us. And we'll figure out something to do with it to help someone. But one thing that I do want to talk a little bit more about, some of this financial stuff that you can do. Now, again, I'm not a financial advisor, but one thing that's important to remember is you have retirement accounts. The governments in a lot of countries have come in and wiped those accounts out, your IRAs or, your different kind of pension funds. And so, that's one thing to consider. Again, I have a link down below. It's called Nomad Investments or Nomad Capitalist. It's just an article about, how to protect yourself. There's a link in the description. You can go and just click on it. It's a good read. It's not a whole lot, but it's a good read, kind of get you going into some directions. But having some different ways to have some offshore investments. That's another thing, because sometimes, and there are countries with more stable economies. And Robbie's phone is like burning up. It is burning up. I don't know who's calling, but I'm going to have a word of prayer with him afterwards. But
I'm going to forward them to your phone.
Yeah, I'm going to cuss them out. No, I'm just kidding. I don't do that. But, the thing is being able to have offshore bank accounts, places that really protect it. This is something that's just to think about, is having a second passport. And a lot of times, because with a lot of things that go on in the chaos, it's really good to be able to have dual citizenship. And then, definitely your precious metals, even storing those offshore.
Yeah.
not doing it nefariously, but doing it in the right manner, but guys, protecting your wealth, because a lot of times, and we saw this back in the 30s where they confiscated all the gold. And so, it's there's one thing, it's just a way to protect it. And so, again, just read that article. It's really good. But, having, again, your silver, I've heard this before from some people that honestly are just ignorant. But no, you can't eat silver. But you know what? If I don't have something I need, then I can take that and go get something I need, and then they can do it. It's a currency. It's just like you can't eat a dollar either, but I'm not going to get rid of them. And, so having that stuff set aside, again, barter items are your currency too. As a prepper, you can't prep for everything. You just can't do it. And so if you have certain things that you can use to go out and barter, again, ammunition. One thing I'll warn you about, though, in Argentina, a lot of people did. They bought ammunition to use, to sell, and to barter with. And then the government passed a law saying that if you can't sell ammunition unless you're a licensed dealer. And we're seeing some of that kind of bull crap coming up too. So, the best thing to do is to be fluid and to have some different options. Don't get locked into one system. One thing too is, guys, if you're, you may have a side thing you do, your side gig. And I've always had some kind of side gig until I started my YouTube channels. Now I'm too busy to do a side gig. But, you may have to go to work every day, and that work could be in jeopardy with lockdowns or with the economy. And it's good to have some kind of side gig, but also if you're working to where you can, move and stay at home and work from home. And so trying to think about these things ahead of time, looking into that kind of stuff. Just some ideas. Okay.
Just like you want to create multiple revenue streams for yourself, you want to create multiple investment streams, so you're not pigeonholed into one thing, have all your eggs in one basket.
That's right.
You want to spread everything out.
Right. And again, Acre Gold, check them out. There's a link down below. We do kind of work with them. So, I mean, it's a great way, especially if you have limited funds, to kind of start putting yourself in a decent shape. And again, I just want to mention this. We really do appreciate Sportsman's Guide. And you do get $20 off every $100 purchase. So it's just using Sootch. So I just wanted to mention that, because that to me, if you're on a budget and you need some supplies, it's a great way to get it and make save a little extra money. So okay, see if you got some more.
The Black Bear Forge asks, how about honey? Is it a good trading item?
Honey's awesome. Yep. Honey has so many different properties. It will last forever. And of course, it's definitely healthy. And so there's just a lot of great things about honey. Yes, I would highly recommend having honey.
Or hives, if you can.
If you have honeybees, man, you can that can be a great barter item.
Absolutely.
And you can sell it even in good times.
Music Playlist asks, is it a good time to sell ammo that has been stockpiled as you recommended, buy low, sell high?
It's according to how much you have.
Yep.
I have a lot. And I'm not selling any of it. What I am doing is, and I've been doing this, I'm giving it. I had a buddy of mine bought a 300 Blackout. And he's like, dude, I bought a rifle. I can't find any ammo. Do you know where any is? I said, no, that's a hard one to get. I said, I'll be by tomorrow. And I dropped by there and gave him 100 rounds. To me, my thing is not as far as ammo goes, because guys, I mean, honestly, we don't know what's going to happen this next year. We don't know what's going to happen if the assault weapons ban, they start trying to enforce that and people say, no, we're not doing that.
Yeah.
So I'm just saying, ammo to me is something you need to really hold on to if you got it. But if you have extra and you want to give it out, I gave some 22 to a guy. We've been giving ammunition to people that really just can't find it, and I'm trying to help those that are in my sphere, in my area.
But to take a little different angle on that, if you bought a lot of that ammunition as an investment, right now would be a great time to liquidate some of that. Like you were saying, you buy it low, you sell it high. It's a great time to turn a tidy little profit on it if you have enough.
Yeah, but just make sure you have enough, that you have a stock of it.
Yeah. Because you don't want to be 6 months from now, a year from now, to where you're paying twice as much to replenish that ammunition that you sold,
right,
and end up losing money on it.
Right.
Linda Kruger asked, I heard lead mines are being purchased and then restricted in manufacturing. Is that true?
We don't have any domestic lead mining in the United States right now. The last lead mine in the U.S. was closed down about 6 or 7 years ago. So all of our lead that we have in the United States is either imported from other countries or repurposed used lead at this time.
Which is kind of scary because the administration, whoever's in charge, can limit imports.
Sure.
So that could be a bottleneck.
Nick Martino asked, would you recommend getting into buying all the equipment for reloading at home?
Sure, absolutely. Just know going into it that primers are going to be your bottleneck right now. All the other components are pretty easy to source. Powder, cases, projectiles, all your reloading presses, all your reloading equipment, all of that stuff is pretty readily available right now. The big bottleneck is just being able to find primers to load your own ammo.
Now, one thing I would say that would be a big advantage with that is if they start coming in with a gun tax and ammunition sales kind of back off a little bit, then you're going to be able to get primers at a lot less rate than you would boxed ammunition.
Right.
So that could be something in the future that you'd want to do. I mean, I have reloading equipment, used to reload for years. And then I got lazy because I had ammo, because Fiocchi is my, they send ammo for me to do my reviews. But yeah, I mean, there could be some definite advantages. And if that does happen, then you're going to see a rush on reloading equipment.
That's right.
So it may be a great time to go ahead of the curve.
That's right.
Get yourself, set up.
Service Venator asks, will it be constitutionally legal to make gun owners' property illegal to own if Biden has the ATF change legally owned guns and mags as NFA items?
Well, it's definitely not constitutional. It never has been, for them to restrict.
That'll be a case that'll go to the Supreme Court.
Now, that is the one ace in the hole that we have, but it takes a lot of times a long time to get there.
Yeah.
But a lot of things that are done toward gun owners aren't legal. They're not. I mean, they're restricting our rights to bear arms in self-defense of even our own government or an invading army or whatever. When we're limited down to, well, all you need is a shotgun or a revolver, or you need this for your home defense. We're not talking about home defense. Mm-hmm. Home defense is part of it, but it's national defense. It's defense for us to defend our rights as Americans. And so if a pistol brace, is one of the best things out there, our founding fathers would be like, yeah, you need that. You need the AR-15 because you need to have that kind of capability to be able to stand up and to protect your rights. So, but as far as we'll have to see how that works out. As far as, we can sit here and sit on our high horse and say, well, the Constitution, that's like people going, I didn't get a concealed carry permit because the Constitution's my right to carry. Well, yeah, but and then you're going to spend the next 5 years going through litigation and probably in jail and a lot of other stuff. So you have to be prudent and you have to fight with your voice and and be active in your state. But yeah.
Roy C. Sargent asks, hi, Sootch. I've been trying to find an M16A1, an M16A1 reproduction lower, but everyone I contacted do not have them in stock. I'm trying to finish my build. Can you help?
Well, I know Brownells does some pretty cool retro stuff. And once in a while, you'll see things pop up where they have actual kits. But
Sarco had some M16A1 kits the other day.
Did they have the receivers?
They had everything but the receiver. There's actually a couple of companies that make specific M16A1 receivers, and the name of them it's escaping me right now. But that'd be one, honestly, that I would Google. M16A1 retro receiver or reproduction receiver. And there's a few companies that should pop up that make those. With the current climate that we have, it's all AR-15 stuff is difficult to get right now. And it may be something that you have to back order and just wait for a little while for it to come in.
Yeah, but the big thing is they are making these parts as fast as possible. So it's not like, it's out. I mean, it's out. It's timing. This whole thing, ammunition, guns, whatever it is all about timing because there's a lot of people looking. One thing I'm just going to tell you, sometimes it's 3 a.m. and a buddy of mine, he'll do that. There's one company, I think it was Brownells, they put out their ammunition or whatever at like on Sunday night or Sunday morning, early, like at 4 a.m. or something. And he'll sit there and wait. And don't quote me on that. I don't know that, I can't remember if that's exactly the time they put it out. But sometimes you can find parts and stuff like that. So good luck, because I know that would be a lot of that's really cool. But Brownells does do the retro, so
Mm-hmm.
you might be able to. That might be your best chance.
Nick Martino asks, can I have a Sootch top 3 fixed blades to buy that you recommend, please?
The first, well, I'll tell you, there's one that, well, one of the ones that's just my standard go-to is the Essie.
I knew it was going to be.
I love the Essie. I love it. I love it for multiple reasons. It's not super expensive, but it's not cheap either. But I've used that thing so much and I've cut with it so much that I know the capability of that knife.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to tell you another one that's kind of strange, but the Glock field knife, as far as a super budget knife,
yeah,
that is a great solid knife and it's reasonable. And I recommend that to a lot of people that are prepping. Instead of going out spending $100, $200, they can spend $30 and get a Glock field knife. The other one is my Fight for Survival knife, and it's actually it's a guy, Will Welling, and Up Armored Knives. Up Armored Knives, the Fight for Survival knife, and a lot of his knives are some of my favorites. And his work is impeccable. In fact, he now works for K-Bar doing a lot of design stuff with them. But Up Armored Knives, there is so many though. I hate to even say it because there's so many really excellent knives out there. But those are just some of the ones that are kind of like, I know the Glock field knife that isn't really a creme de la creme, but it just is.
The Ontario knife and tool, their United States Marine Corps fighting knife.
Well, and the K-Bar,
yep.
The K-Bar is, the K-Bar is a big one. I yep. can't leave that one out. But there are a lot of really modern, really nice knives. Over the years, I've had people send me really nice custom knives, and then I have to take them and do a torture test, and I'm like beating the crap out of an $800 knife. I remember one time I was sitting there hammering it, doing all this stuff. But and I'll tell you one that's it's not as available as it used to be with the AK-47 bayonet. It's a great budget because it's got the wire cutter. It's got a great sheath.
Yep.
I mean, it's just tough as nails, and it's usually was very inexpensive. They've kind of gone up. They've gotten a little more scarce. But yeah, the Essie though is one that is like my go-to. And as far as just really down and dirty, it's a big one, and it'll handle it in whatever size you want.
That's right.
Scott Hangney asks, what's a sensible amount of cash to keep on hand?
Well, it's according to your budget. And when I say that, it's according to what your bills are and what you need to have.
My rule of thumb, and just following Dave Ramsey, is you need to have 6 months of cash put aside to be able to pay all your bills and to be able to survive for 6 months. Something happens, you get laid off from your job, you've got enough money put aside to cover everything that you need to pay for 6 months.
But that would actually be probably also in the bank, having that kind of money assets.
It could be.
As far as just having it like at my house.
Yeah.
Now, to me, you have as much as you can. I mean, we probably, I don't want to say how much we have, but
like you said, it depends on everyone's budget. What your bills are, what you need to pay, how much money you would feel comfortable having put aside, and someplace safe to store it if you're keeping cash in your home. That's a big thing. You don't want to have it just laying out or in a nightstand drawer, stuck in the third sock down toward the back.
No,
of your
you
sock
don't
drawer.
want to do that, because people that break in, they can find stuff. I know from experience, but not with me doing it, but having it done to you.
Yeah.
I know that a guy that, now this is the downside to having cash. Number one, or this is the big ones. My father-in-law he owns an insurance company, and one of his biggest clients, their house caught on fire. He had $80,000 in this little small gun safe and lost every bit of it during the fire. Now, so, I think having excess cash in one spot is kind of, short-sighted. I'll tell you, honestly, I'm just going to tell you a rule of thumb. To me, everybody should, you should at least have a couple of $1,000 put back. I'll just give you that figure, not just a couple of hundred. I think a couple of $1,000 is kind of like a minimum, and so I'm just going to throw that number out there, because over the years, I know Shannon has had that set aside in a certain place. We have more cash than that, but that is one thing that we just kind of started our go-to. So I think that would be a good place to shoot for. So that way, kind of give you a clue as to, what I'm thinking. But I think more than that, it's really important.
IPAC 9mm asked, are you gun channels concerned showing your firearms online, knowing Biden may be taxing them?
Oh, these are all airsofts.
Yeah, these are replicas.
Yeah,
all these are
non-firing replicas.
Well, I'll just say this. You know, when I started my channel during the Obama administration, it was when I had already started, but it was pretty much right then when he first got started. This is one thing that I feel is, listen, your footprint, fingerprint, whatever, is all over the internet. Which, if you're looking for gun stuff, if you have IPAC 9mm, you're definitely on the list, and we all are. If you have a concealed carry permit, you all are. I'll tell you, nothing
all
fancy.
of my licensing that I have.
Yeah, Nothing Fancy just did a great video recently. It was a live video with Tactical Doodle, and talking about, guys, you're marked. You are marked. Yes, I think about this. Well, if they come, we'll see what happens. But the big thing is I can't live in fear.
That's
and
right.
So for me, and yes, we are concerned. We all have to be a little bit of concern. But I can't live in fear to not be able to speak out and to show and to inspire people. Because here's the thing, we've inspired. In fact, the Everytown Moms and that Bloomberg bullcrap, they just filed some kind of petition toward the U.S. Medical Association, saying that the YouTube gun community was a threat to America because we were inspiring people to go out and buy guns. I was number 10 on the list. I mean, it's this national list. Yeah, I'm proud of it.
Awesome job.
I'm very proud of it.
Yes,
you know
sir.
what? I'm on there because I know, and I've said this for years, that's why we have to stay on YouTube, because we are influencing more and more people that don't even know anything about guns.
In a positive manner.
Yes.
And
they're looking at the gun video and they're going, well, dang, that looks like fun. Man, guns aren't so scary. So, yeah, there is a part of me that thinks, crap, I got all these guns. But it's too late for that anyway. So for now, I got to fight and stand up. You too. We all do. Guys, if you think you're going to have some anonymity, you're going to be anonymous and you're going to be in the background, there ain't no way. You're going to be run down, tracked, and everything else. And if it comes to something like that, if they come for my guns, they're coming for you too. They are. They're coming for you. It's just a matter of time. So if you see me go down, that'll give you a little extra time to be able to get the heck out of Dodge.
Shift Control 85 asks, why are so many preppers overweight and out of shape? Physical conditioning should be one of the main priorities up there with any other preps.
He's getting
But
personal.
for many, it's completely ignored.
Yeah,
Hold
it is.
up. Round is a shape, brother.
No, you are completely right. We're just playing around. Yeah, and here's the thing, guys. You need to be active. You need to be, and I have a buddy of mine that was on one of my videos years ago. I'm not going to even talk about who it is, but he was on my video. He was overweight. He was doing some training stuff, and in the comments, he got just hammered. It inspired him to go out and to work that out and lose a lot of weight and get in great shape. But yes, people, if you're watching the prepping channels and you're prepping and you're prepper minded, you need to get in shape. You really need to, even if it's just going out and walking, even if it's just going out and doing something and being active. The problem is we get settled and we get in a job and we're sitting at our desk and we end up just not being as active as we used to be. I mean, for me personally, I'm out doing stuff a lot, so it really helps. And and two, I'm a member of the Y, and I'm slack, but I try to do like I should do. Sarah Max over here shaking her head, but you're right, and people do need to get in shape. But even if you feel like you're in okay shape, can you run? Can you run a couple of 100 yards? I mean, can you really, if you really got active, how's your wind? You need to get that built up. Whether it's a self-defense situation, which is important to really be in good shape, or you're just hauling wood back and forth. So yes, I agree with you 100%. People need to
pick
get
somebody
in shape.
up and carry somebody a couple of 100 yards.
Yeah, you pick somebody up.
That'll tell on you quickly.
Oh,
Yeah.
well then, sorry. I'm just kidding.
I gotta get you in shape.
Tina asks, I have a 38, but I want something that shoots more bullets than 5. Not sure what to get next. Rifle for distance, maybe, then a 9mm.
Yeah, the one thing about a handgun is it's personal self-defense. And so that's important to have something, but and two, it's concealable and you can get around. This is one thing I was told our prepper group years ago is, everybody had a pistol and a shotgun. Now, I think having a higher capacity magazine pistol in 9mm, I'll just say 9mm is probably your best.
Yeah.
But you got to find the ammunition. But really, what happens if you have just a handgun and then somebody 100 yards or 200 yards off pins you down with a rifle? And that's the one thing. So we went out. I took all these people out, and we took them to this place that used to have the old Mosin Nagants, and they had them for really reasonable. So everybody bought one. So at least they had something to be able to reach out if they needed to. So I definitely feel like that handgun is important, whatever it is. You could upgrade that, but I think having a rifle of some sort to be able to just to get out to a little bit of distance. It doesn't have to be a sniper rifle, but something that'll, even a hunting rifle.
Yeah.
And then having a shotgun, and having a 22. Now I'm adding all these to what you're thinking about, but having a handgun is important, but having some kind of rifle would be good. And again, it could be just a hunting rifle.
And right now she's already got the revolver. I would, before I bought the 9mm pistol, I would probably lean toward getting an AR-15 or something equivalent to that first. Like you were saying, get the long gun first. Decide whether you want to get a red dot or iron sights or a low power variable optic for it.
But this point, then just get a rifle and use the sights that are on it.
That's right.
And it does, it's according to your budget.
Mm-hmm.
So an AR-15 right now, they've kind of gone even more up in price. So again, even if you just go to your local pawn shop and they have a 30-30 on the shelf, or something, in stock, and they have some ammo, and that's going to be the biggest problem right now is finding ammo for whatever you're going to get. Sooner or later it'll come around, but that's one thing you got to consider.
Your conscience asks, preparing ammo for long-term storage, ?
U.S. military ammo tins.
Yep.
U.S. military ammo tins are awesome. Make sure that the rubber gasket seal is fine, and you want to treat that with a little bit of silicone or whatever,
I usually just put a little Vaseline on mine.
Yeah, that works.
Rub a little Vaseline on that seal to keep it from dry rotting. I'll pull the seal out, coat it all the way around, then put it back in the can, put my ammo in there, and seal it up in the ammo can. And I try and use like the 9mm ammo cans for my 9s, the 5.56 ammo cans for my 5.56, and then anything bigger than that, I use the 30 caliber ammo cans.
This is the 50. We've got our, I'll just put these little markers here. I know what's in here. This thing is full. That's your big ones. Then you have the 30mm cans he was talking about right here. And so, but it has the seal in it. I mean, these are made for storing ammunition.
And you can buy these at surplus for $3 to $5 a piece.
Not anymore.
Have they went up some?
Oh Lord, yeah. No. Yeah, they're a lot more expensive. They've gotten a little bit, but you can find them. And there's a lot of different places. Even Academy Sports has them sometimes. But also MTM Case Guard. They have these plastic ammo cans, and they have a seal around it. They're lighter, and there's a lot of things. So MTM Case Guard, that's a great place to find a lot of storage stuff.
And a lot of theirs are stackable.
Yes,
which is a really nice feature.
But yeah, they're stackable. They even have crates. Check out MTM Case Guard. Just a lot of good solutions to ammo. Some people take and they'll vacuum seal their ammo. I can't vacuum seal my ammo because I got too much of it. But I think that you could do that if you wanted to put some long-term storage. And that's one thing actually I'm looking into is doing some vacuum seals for some firearms.
We do
and things like that.
With our ammunition and our ammo cans like that, I put a couple of desiccant packs in there. So what little bit of air is left in there, what little bit of moisture is in there, those desiccant packs will absorb that and keep your ammunition from corroding.
That's a great idea.
Nick Martino asked, how about stocking up on meds, vitamins, and prescription drugs? A month minimum or more?
Yeah, big time.
Yeah.
And one thing too, right now with the corona, whatever it is, running around, vitamin C, D3, and zinc. That's what they're talking about. In fact, some people that we've actually known that have gotten it, they went to the doctor and the doctor said, vitamin C, D3, and zinc. And they found that levels of zinc in their bloodstream or in their body actually is a deterrent toward the corona ahead of time. They tend to do a lot better. Okay, so yes, I would highly recommend getting some, you're getting your meds together, basic things like Band-Aids and Advil and stuff like that. here's the thing, guys. If they're doing some kind of lockdowns or whatever, and they still allow you to go to the store, you just don't have to go as often, and you've got your stuff at home. But honestly, yes, having supplies at home is important. We have a bag, and it is a full-on med kit bag, and we have trauma. We have everything in there, and we take it with us on trips. We have our medicine cabinet full too. But yeah, having those supplies. As far as time, I mean, we go a little overboard. We have, you do have expiration dates a lot of times, but it just means the potency's down. Doesn't mean they're not any good.
It's like tritium sites. After 10 years, they're still 50% as good as they were when you bought them.
Right. But oh, I can actually see.
That's right.
It might take you a second. But yeah, that's having your meds. And I would recommend a month. I mean, I would recommend at least 3 months.
3 months minimum.
3 months, yeah, minimum. And that's what I say about the food too, guys, which we do a lot more than that. But 3 months food is minimum. And your water is very important. Oh my gosh, it's 1 o'clock. It's 1 o'clock. Okay, guys. Well, I'll tell you, thanks. It's been very engaging. We really do appreciate it. Sensible Prepper, you guys seem to be really kind of on point. A lot of times with the gun, with Sootch channel, sometimes people can get kind of anti-gun in there. And, chippy. And Sarah Mac really is like, oh my gosh. But guys, just consider some of your finances. Consider a financial plan to put together. Do it as you can. Don't go nuts, but I would go ahead and get started on something, even if it's just buying, some silver rounds. I think these are about $27 a piece. Get you, a few of them. The junk silver to me is your best as far as barter. I can take a dime. Again, there were a lot of stores. In fact, I even remember a few years ago, stores opened up and we're actually taking silver as currency. And then, of course, Acre Gold, great way to get into gold. One thing about it is this bag, it's heavy. Silver's heavy. And, with gold, you've got less weight per value. So Acre Gold, I'll have a link down below in the description. This is a great way to get into a subscription. Very painless. And then, of course, check into some other options. Read that article from Nomad Capitalist. And might give you some ideas, especially if you have pensions and you have money put back and you're kind of going, man, I'm really worried about that. To start doing some research now, because if we do have some kind of financial situation, no one knows, no one can predict that. But I'm just saying it's really prudent to look ahead. And that's what our channel's about. Sensible Prepper is not just having food and water and beans. It's also taking care of your everyday, what you do. So we really do appreciate Robbie Wheaton for being here. Just a great wealth and just a lot of fun. We always have fun when Robbie's here. We were kind of on a serious note today, but we thought that it was very important to do that.
And, just to give myself a shameless plug,
please do.
We've got some amazing sales going on at wheatonarms.com all this week on our barrels, our guide rods, and a bunch of other parts. So if you've been thinking about picking up some of our stuff, or you haven't been to our website before and want to check us out, head over to wheatonarms.com, sign up for our newsletter, and check out some of our stuff we've got.
Do you guys have the 9 to 40 conversion barrels?
I've got a few.
Okay. So see, that's one thing. If you've got a Glock 40 and you want to, they carry the 9mm conversion barrels for those. You can't just drop a 9mm barrel in it. It has to be the conversion.
Right. Because the barrel diameter is larger on the 40 caliber than it is on the 9mm.
So he does have a few. I would highly recommend that. That'll give you another option.
And the ones we have are on sale.
Okay. But yeah, please check out. It's just great for Robbie to come out. And I did give him a flashlight today for coming out. But yeah, we really do appreciate it. Thanks to Sarah Mac also, and just for setting all this up. She's just and kind of following things. She's precious. Just precious.
Don't lie.
I'm not. You're my daughter. You're my only daughter. You're precious. But also, we want to thank Sportsman's Guide. And guys, $20 off every $100 or more purchase using Sootch. Just SOOTCH, no 00 or anything else. And you get $20 off. And if your order is over $100, then place that one and then place another one and get $20 more off. And if you're part of their buyers club, you get free shipping. That's one thing I am. I'm a member of their buyers club. Tons of surplus ammo tins. That's a great source for ammo tins. I got all these different sizes too.
Well, that's the thing. You start buying big bulky items like that, being a member of their buyers club and getting that free shipping on those big bulky items. Couple of orders will pay for itself.
Dude, I got the big 55-gallon drums and it was free shipping.
Yep.
So,
they lost money on that one.
I don't know. They got their ways, but they're just great, and they're great people. They've been around for a long, long time. So check out Sportsman's Guide, and again, use that code, and it'll help you out. So we really appreciate everything you do. Thanks for coming. And guys, make sure you get prepared. Get prepared. Don't wait and be in the crowd and be in a panic, because when you're prepared, you're not scared. So be strong, be of good courage. God bless America. Long live the Republic.